That's how we open it. That's how it made me a man.
Good one.
The African Prince Ali made Charlie a man.
All right, we just got to get started. Welcome to the Backlot 605 podcast. I am your host. I'm Casey Kelderman.
I'm Brian Mensing.
And we are already starting off to a crazy start because we are joined by Andy Heller from Fat Dude Digs Flicks.
What up, what up?
What's up, Andy?
Oh, just doing my thing.
Yeah, and right next to you we got your mortal enemy.
Your arch nemesis.
The Joker to your Batman.
That is accurate. That is absolutely accurate.
Yep.
This is Charlie Eccles. Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're fine. So today we brought you two on. You two have been talking some smack on social media. Let's start with that because...
We can't mention talking smack. That got canceled.
We're bringing
the
it back.
bane of my existence is the fact that Daniel Bryan and Renee Young are no longer together.
It's very sad.
At least we get CM Punk and Renee Young together.
Yeah, I'm backstage.
Yeah. So you two hate each other. Is that right?
Yeah. We hate each other.
Charlie sucks.
Oh, this guy's so much bigger than me, and I'm jealous. Talking smack. Bring it back.
Look, I don't think it's hate. I think it's
there's a professional rivalry, I would say.
Right.
I'd say two different worlds. We roughly do the same thing as far as within our worlds.
Yeah.
Like we have a banter saying that, I'm better at my job. You might be better at your job, but I think I could do your job. Is kind of where we're coming at.
I could do what you do.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm hearing wrestling podcasts.
I'm hearing Andy showing up on Midwest All Pro commentating with Charlie.
And it'd be so funny to see all of our guys walk by Andy just a head shorter than him.
Right.
Is this the new guy?
Yeah.
It was so funny because somebody said on my Facebook, now that I just gotta say this because it's really cool for me. Now that Nick Dinsmore has added me as a friend on Facebook, somebody was like, "You should sign him up," and I'm like, first off, I have the athletic ability of a slug, like a really fat slug. And then the second one is like, I don't want to take or impose on Charlie's job, but it would be really funny to just show up there one day and be like, "Hey, Charlie."
Oh, that would be hilarious. Yeah. We have a new commentary guy starting at our next show too. So
oh my God.
I'm breaking everybody in because Dags has some business that he needs to take care of within what we do. So we have a new commentary partner for me coming in. So and the whole time I was thinking, I was like, you know what? As volatile as it's been, maybe Andy and I have a little bit of chemistry.
Be like, just let him sit off to the side for the first 5 shows, and I'll be like, no. I got this, guys. I'll take care of this.
Well, this guy I made the suggestion to bring him in, so I'm going to give him the shot and see what we do. So,
well, if he sucks, I'm ready.
There you go.
All right, so we are letting Charlie. He's stepping into our world today, I would say.
Yeah.
In your world.
We're going to be talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie. So it's still within the wrestling realm because The Rock, he's one of the greatest ever, and I think without a shadow of a doubt, he's the greatest wrestler turned actor.
Yeah, I would say so.
Most popular,
the most profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
He's no Hulk Hogan.
Kind of nipping on his heels. There's John Cena and Batista. But I think Cena's got a long way to go.
I think Dave he's got the acting chops that none of us really expected.
Right.
And also
agreed.
What's that?
Agreed.
Yeah. And he's done some more. The Rock jumped right into The Mummy.
Yeah.
He jumped right into a huge franchise. Yeah. Dave really did. He did some more artsy type films before he even jumped into Guardians. So he's really he wanted to make sure that when he stepped into that role, he belonged,
right?
And
right.
that he could, hang his hat on something before he went into Guardians.
And I think that's going to help him build his reputation a lot better because he has these quote unquote respectable films under his belt instead of just pure franchise, pure action. You know, I think he's.
I'm looking at those three as they kind of went into acting with three different mindsets because The Rock went straight for I'm going to be the Schwarzenegger Stallone guy. Batista's kind of gone a little bit more, like you said, the art and more of the fantasy. And then
he was in the last James Bond as well, was
yes.
he not? Yes, okay.
And then you got Cena, who I think he's definitely shooting more for the comedic side of things than either the other. I mean, yeah, obviously The Rock has done his comedy or whatever, but that's like what Cena's best known for now.
Yeah.
He's done his Marine version 19 different ways, but and then you get movies like Blockers and Trainwreck.
Right. Yeah, I think The Rock is shooting for the career that Hulk Hogan wished he would have had in film.
You're not wrong.
You are not
wrong. If you've ever read the worst book in the history of books, which is Hulk Hogan's original autobiography, he talks about that, how he wanted to get into acting. That's where Thunder in Paradise came in. And that's why his WCW's in with him was the fact that he was just working at Disney.
Yeah.
And that... they came in and they moved all of their shooting to Disney. So Eric Bischoff just walked up to him on set one day and like, "Hey, you want to be a part of WCW?" "Oh, I suppose, brother."
So today we're going to bring it back to where you two first kicked off this feud, SiouxperCon last year.
Yeah,
and we're going to be
doing
doing
my boy.
Yeah.
You bashed my boy.
Bashed his boy, Billy Gunn.
So here's the thing. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what came over me.
Neither do I.
But
I was running on 19 hours on my feet. So
it was like, it was just, there was this this kind of haze that I just kind of took over. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to challenge Billy Gunn. Because wouldn't that be really cool if somehow, some way, Billy Gunn showed up on this podcast? It didn't happen. But... when you told me everything that happened that day, I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be here either. I would just be like, you know what? This man's a good man. It's not going to stop me from talking about him.
Well, right, as it shouldn't, because he also, having met him now, I know that he's taking it in stride.
Yeah.
So if he did hear any of it, but Billy, that whole weekend, he came and he did wrestling. He did a seminar on Friday, wrestled on Friday night. He came in, sat at his table, met all of his fans. He later told me he was going to come to the burlesque show. So I had like high hopes that I'd be like, "Billy, this guy has been talking mad shit." Like, and I was gonna catch him off guard too. Like, and that way I know that he would have come. He would just like, "Oh man, fuck that guy." I can still swear on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, and so and having had some short conversations with him. Now I know, like, if I would have been able to catch him off guard, dude would have walked in like it was 99 and he was in Madison Square Garden. I mean, but anyway, so I text him right before the After Dark stuff started at SiouxperCon because we had our Grand Admiral coming in. And our Grand Admiral was the son of a former staff member who has been battling cancer. His name is Derek. And Derek really wanted to meet Billy Gunn. Yeah. And I just like, it's just not going to happen because Billy's got to leave Sunday night. They got to their hotel about the same time that Billy went back to his room.
Yeah.
So Billy had been in his room for about an hour. And I sent him a text message. And I said, "Billy, I've got this kid who really wants to meet you. Can you give us 10 to 15 minutes and just meet this kid?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll be right down." And totally down for everything, and he was originally going to come to the burlesque show, but his son was wrestling on Ring of Honor that night. Yeah. And then he also, he's very much in love with his wife, and he said that he ended up talking to his wife for like 3 hours that night. He texted me at like midnight, like, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't come," and I'm like, dude, right? You're a person. It's okay, you know. You're a giant human being as for a person, but yeah, it was. But he was a very cool guest to bring on. I think if anybody gets a chance to meet him on a personal basis, it's hard to say anything bad about him. So.
Yeah, I in my head I was like, you know, if he does show up, I was like, am I gonna do the? Am I gonna be like, yeah, I said it, or I'm gonna be like, and then run,
right?
And I was like.
It would have been the latter.
I'm going to run. I'm going to run. I can talk, but I'm not going to be able to talk with like that. So it was like, you know, I just wanted to keep the joke going, and then you stood up and let me have it. And
I was offended, man.
It was great.
I was, and for those who don't know, I was on just staff for SiouxperCon last year, and I was a big part of planning the whole convention. So I had been there from essentially since 6 in the morning on Friday morning. And I got there at 6 in the morning every other morning. So at that point, I'm literally looking at everybody with one eye and like don't have a drop of water in my system. And it's like, I'm like, you can't talk shit about Billy Gunn. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. So
it was great. It was like I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And then after you talked and everybody quieted down, I was like, fine. Bring me Bart Gunn.
Oh, I don't even know what happened to Bart, man. Yeah, I mean, he was the Marty Jannetty. Unfortunately. Great boxer. Great boxer. That's an inside joke for wrestling fans, but he's a great boxer.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just a blast.
So that's Charlie's goal for this year's SuperCon, bring in Bart Gunn.
I want to bring in Bart Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be possible.
I need
if you can find
a
him.
2020 Smoking Guns reunion.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, actually, Billy and I had a really great conversation about Chris Candido.
Yeah.
And one of my first introductions to tag team wrestling before I started digging deeper was the Smoking Guns against the Body Donnas.
Yep.
And when he and I were talking about that, I was like nerding. I'm like, you love Chris Candido too? I love Chris Candido. He's my size. So.
All right, before we get into this 16 movie rock bracket, let's do what we usually do on our show. We talk about the box office and the news. So a little movie stuff that we can get into. The box office this week looks exactly the same as last week. Number 1, Frozen 2, $34.6 million. Did you guys watch Frozen 2?
Nope.
Andy?
Not yet.
No?
Not
Oh,
yet. I
all right.
actually am planning on catching it this week.
We are grown men. We don't need to watch Frozen 2.
I'm going to go to the theater when I think there are very few children there, so
you-
I don't look like the creepy guy sitting in the back of the theater.
It's okay to cheer for Christoph, man. I mean, we all do.
I like the fact that we're at 34 million for the week, and that's almost a 60% dip from the week before.
Just a slow week.
Yeah, just a slow week for Frozen 2.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow week in general for movies. Nothing big came out. Me and Andy mentioned it beforehand because it's the exact same order as last week. Number 2, Knives Out, $14.1 million. Number 3, Ford vs. Ferrari, 6.5, and Queen and Slim also 6.5, neck and neck there. And then A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, 5.2. So, you guys have any thoughts on the box office? It's pretty much the exact same as last week, like I said.
Yeah, I kind of felt like this is how it was going to be for the next several weeks. I thought because I think the only new one was Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, and that wasn't going to break the box office. No,
it's a political thriller, and those ones, depending on the star power and how many theaters they're in, they might crack the top 5. But this one didn't really have a whole lot of, gas to get it there. So
yeah, next week will be a different story because we do have a rock movie opening up and a sequel, Jumanji. What's
The
it
Next
called?
Level.
The Next Level.
I was about to say Welcome to the Jungle, but nope, that's the first one.
That's a much better title.
Yeah.
That is a much better title.
What Guns N' Roses song were they going to use this time?
Oh, it's
Sweet Child of Mine.
Sweet Child of Mine.
November Rain.
Yeah, make it November Rain. That'll be the end of the trilogy.
Oh, no, they got to do Civil War between that and have him and Jack Black face off. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, let's move to the news. We got a bunch of trailers to talk about. First one, Black Widow trailer. So what did you guys think of this first look at the Scarlett Johansson-led film that's been a long time coming?
Okay. So
He didn't like it.
Not really. I didn't really like it. I love that Florence Pugh is in it. I just think she is awesome.
She looks a badass in that trailer too.
She looks fantastic, and I think she's going to be great. I think the thing with the whole Black Widow movie in general, unless they're really going to do some storytelling to make it fit into this world, feels very late. And it's hard for me to get excited about it because of how late it feels. But I think it'll be the same situation with most of the Marvel movies. I know I'm still going to be there. I'll still throw my money at it. But I just, I don't know. The trailer's not great, but it is the first teaser.
Yeah.
So we'll get another one before it opens. And that one will probably be like, oh, yeah, I want to see it.
I want to see it for David Harbour.
Yeah.
He looks really goofy in it,
He
though. I
does
don't
look
know.
goofy. And I think it's a really interesting balance that they're trying to do there with him being a tough guy and kind of the dose of humor in that one. So it'll be fun to see how he pulls it off. I like him as an actor. Mm-hmm. So I did not like this year's Hellboy, but I thought he was good casting. Just the movie wasn't great. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they pull off Black Widow.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think it's very, even though it is a superhero movie, it's very superhero-like, and I wish it was more spy espionage for Black Widow. I don't need to see her flying through the sky,
right?
Like at the end of the trailer. I thought that was really cheesy. Florence Pugh is the best part of this.
Oh, yeah.
Like if she's gonna be the next Black Widow, go for it.
Yep.
Do it. I'm all in.
Bring her in. I think she's great. So.
Charlie, did you watch the trailer?
I did. I am the type of person that when I'm excited about a movie and I know I'm going to go see it, I will only watch like that first teaser and then skip the rest. Like I've done the same thing with Star Wars this year because I'm very excited. But I like going in with like a genuine surprise coming into it. So I know the little bit from the first Star Wars trailer. That's all I've gotten so far. So I'll ask that nobody say anything else about those trailers. But I liked it, but I am with you on this one here, Andy. It's too little, too late for Black Widow, especially with the story arc that she's had. I felt like they gave her a very good ending, of like really making her character important to the entire MCU. Right. So why are we jumping? Why are we backtracking on this?
Yeah.
Not that the character itself is not deserving of a movie, but I think that if it were to happen, we should have introduced her in Iron Man 2 and then had a Black Widow movie not long after that.
Or when I'm guessing this is after like Civil War or
yeah, it's
something?
supposed to be after Civil War.
So why didn't this movie come out then?
Right.
That's
right.
That would have made sense.
I feel like the way that they're going to make this be something that more people are going to be excited for is if they introduce the stakes. Because right now, because we know what happens to her character, what stakes matter. Like, you've got to establish, are these other characters going to be what are really important about this movie or what? So, yeah.
I'm guessing it's to set up the new Black Widow?
Probably.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So.
All right, next trailer. We got the first trailer for the next Bond film, No Time to Die.
And I had no time to watch it.
Yeah, it's another one that's like, okay. Like, I'll see it. I mean, I know I'll
Bond.
see it.
It's Bond. Yeah.
And I really like the Daniel Craig Bond movies, except for
Quantum of Solace.
Quantum of Solace and Spectre. So I guess that's what?
Two.
I forget Quantum of Solace exists.
Right? Yeah. So hopefully, if this one's good, that's 3 out of 5.
That's
not bad.
That's a semi-passing grade.
Better than Brosnan?
That's right. I like it better than Brosnan. So
is this Bond 25?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that they're bringing back Christoph Waltz
as
Blofeld, and that's it. That's about it.
That's about all.
They don't show a whole lot of Rami Malek's new villain. We have no idea what his motivation or what his character is going to be.
The look is cool. I think that mask is kind of fun. This Bond series, this segment of the Bond storyline, everything feels connected, which I really enjoy that about Daniel Craig's Bond movies, is that
going like the Mission Impossible route. with them.
Yeah. So hopefully this is a good culmination to all of these other movies. But yeah, the trailer, fine.
Are we ready for a new Bond? I think is that part of it.
Hopefully they give him a good solid ending to his Bond too. Yeah. That way he can finally pass the torch. Even though he said several times, "This is my last one," he's basically said this after breaking his ankle. This is my last one.
Yeah, this is. They've got to give him a good ending, or
is there still talk of bringing in Idris Elba as Bond?
I would love that.
I would too.
That would be so great.
Did you see the social media stuff they did? I don't remember what award ceremony it was.
Yeah, there was a big push. To get him, but that was all I saw.
I forget what award ceremony it was, but it just was literally at the next table over from Daniel Craig. Okay. So it just literally puts up on like his Instagram or something like that with this like scared look at his face, and it just reads this is awkward because he's got Daniel Craig in the background.
He's coming for it.
I would love Idris Elba.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
I would be completely okay with that.
Yeah.
I picture Hollywood being very fearful, though, of basically not making him a white British dude.
I think they're more fearful because he's old.
Yeah, because he's in his 50s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just as old as Craig. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's what they're worried about. They want a guy who's going to stick around for 5 sequels.
Yeah. Well, let's sign him and do it all in 10 years.
I was going to say, push him out every other year like a Disney flick.
Fly through him, yep. Yeah.
All right, next trailer we got is for the Ryan Reynolds action comedy Free Guy.
I only saw I've only seen the poster for this. So you guys have to run me down on what the plot of this movie is.
That's a really great question you ask there, Charlie.
Great.
What is the plot of Free Guy?
Brian, what is the plot of Free Guy?
Free Guy.
He is a self-aware NPC in a video game, Grand Theft Auto style. That he's just the guy that just works.
I kind of want to see this now.
Okay.
The poster is incredible.
I will completely agree and say that for a July 4th movie, it's probably not going to be that great. But I want to see it just for the fact that it definitely knows exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. True.
And that, it's Ryan Reynolds just being him. And, like if you're going to make a movie about an NPC in a video game who becomes self-aware, the guy who's the best at breaking that fourth wall via Deadpool is like the only guy that could make this movie.
So am I catching this right that maybe there are two people here who are not Ryan Reynolds fans?
I like Ryan Reynolds a lot. Okay. I do. I think he's very funny. However, I feel like when you go see a Ryan Reynolds movie, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's Ryan Reynolds, like, getting an hour and a half.
It's like an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah. I'm looking for the time when Ryan Reynolds gets to make an Uncut Gems or Punch Drunk Love type thing. I wonder if the audiences would buy into it.
Buried is probably the closest thing
Buried.
he's done.
Really, yep, that is a really
And he tried Amityville Horror, and
We're not counting Blade 3?
That is Triple H's
guys,
movie.
Okay?
Triple H is the best part of it.
I was going to say, good segue.
Where they had to computer animate Wesley Snipes' eyes because he refused to open them during that scene. Oh,
what a
boy.
douchebag.
Oh, boy.
I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing for Blade 3.
Just pay me for this trilogy.
Free Guy looks terrible. I talked to Brian before the show. I'm like, his shtick works for Deadpool, and besides that, it just doesn't work for me. It's not something I want to stick around and watch.
I was like, is this Fortnite the movie? Is that what's going on here?
Grand Theft Auto
And then I was like, I don't know video games. Is this Grand Theft Auto? Yeah.
Should we move on? Some other news that might get the same reaction out of Andy. I don't know. We'll see. We have a new Planet of the Apes movie coming from director Wes Ball, who did the last couple Maze Runner movies.
Didn't he do all the Maze Runner movies?
Maybe all of them. I don't know.
Who that is? No.
No?
That's all I'm going to say.
Moving on!
Next!
No, he did do all of them. Yeah, you're right. That's about it to his credits as a director, though, too.
Do we know if this has anything to do with the recent Planet of the Apes movies, or is this completely...
They have not made any sort of...
Plot unknown.
Yeah. Whether it's connected or not.
I want more Apes movies, no matter what. I don't. If it's connected to the circus ones, awesome. Mm-hmm. If it's not, do some weird sci-fi stuff with it.
And if it is tied to circus, well, circus needs to come back in any way, shape, or form.
And Maze Runner is basically just like ABC version of Hunger Games,
right?
Yeah,
that's right. ABC Family presents
The Maze Runner.
The Maze Runner.
Almost the Hunger Games.
All your favorite characters.
Now on
this Sunday at 6/7 Central.
Katniss in a labyrinth.
There's not much news on it, so I'm guessing we're not fans of the Maze Runner movies.
I don't care about Maze Runner. I
don't.
No. I care more about Planet of the Apes. I really like that most recent trilogy. So I would like to see more of that. But I don't know this guy, so I don't know what his style is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I will wait.
Sounds like he's a relatively green director, too. So this is a big project for somebody who's
and
pretty unknown.
And, typically...
Expectations.
Like, typically, new people can step into stuff like that and be successful, but... it's Maze Runner. Like I said, I like the Planet of the Apes series. It'd be nice to see more movies. Let's just hope it's more this trilogy, less Tim Burton. So,
I wouldn't mind going back to that original series of movies. Those are really cheesy science fiction movies, but they're awesome. So, go with Practical Apes this time. You already showed what you could do with the computer generated ones. Do some practical stuff again. Next piece of news that we got here, we got some new images for Ghostbusters Afterlife and a new title. So let's start off with the title. What do you guys think of the title Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Do you want to take this one first?
I'm in. I'm totally in on this. Not a lot known about the plot at this point. Yeah. I love the casting choices that we have with Paul Rudd. Mm-hmm. I love that we are getting back to our bones with this. I am all in on this. I'm very, very excited. I've been meaning to watch the original too again because it's been several years since I've watched them.
Right.
But I am all in. Obviously, some of my background with this, but I'm very excited to see Paul Rudd in it. Yeah. There was rumor that Seth Rogen's in it somehow. And I know that he tried to get a Ghostbusters project off the ground that didn't work at one point, but
he's probably like, "Hey, this is being made. Give me a 30-second scene."
Yeah, exactly.
I will show up and do
Slimer.
it. I will do it. I will do it for free. I do like the casting of Finn Wolfhard too.
Yes,
I dig the casting overall. I think it's a perfect casting all around.
I just mean him as
like
an up and.
Notice that Joe, the guy from Parks and Rec, is in it too. Yeah, I forget. That's awesome. I'm very.
What are you talking about?
And what? McKenna Grace is the.
That's not him. Never mind.
No.
What?
I thought it was the guy
that's
from...
the Reitmans.
Yeah, don't listen to me. It was blocked, and I thought it was the guy who played the sewage director from Parks and Rec.
Not quite.
I've never seen Parks and Rec, so I'm over going Reitman's in Parks and Rec.
No,
that sure looks like it. Let's be honest.
A little bit. So now thinking about the title Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm pretty sure this is taking place with Spangler's kids and grandkids. Yep. Right? I mean, look at how the kids are dressed and look at their hair.
Yeah, and I think that's what there was an article on I want to say either Slash Film or Entertainment Weekly where they said that these are the grandkids of Egon Spangler.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they move out to the country and they start to find all of his old equipment and stuff in this house, and they're haunted by spirits. That's really all that they've said. You put Ghostbusters on something, I'm there. Like, I really
Did you say that in 2016?
Yeah, and I enjoyed that too.
Did you?
The movie you did? Really?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I had a good time with it. I think there are things they could have done better with it. Mm-hmm. But overall, I mean, I had a good time. But with this one, I think I wish that working title of Ghostbusters 2020, I wish we would have stuck with that. But I can warm up to Ghostbusters Afterlife. But yeah, everything about this, I'm on board. I love that poster, that teaser poster.
I love that first teaser reveal of the Ecto the wind. I got real excited after that. So.
I thought that was so cool.
And when that came from Jason Reitman, you're just like, okay, now we actually have some legitimacy behind this.
Yes.
Like, if you're going to have anybody make this movie, it should be Ivan Reitman's kid, pass the torch. Give him a couple Ghostbusters.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like Sony's been waiting for a franchise for a while. Let this Ghostbusters be it now. I think I was on opposite end of you, Andy, on the 2016 one.
Yeah, most people were.
Yeah. And yes, I'm a sexist pig. That's why. No. I just thought it was...
We all knew it.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was a very poor outing for all of those women who are hilarious and many other things. And I think, bringing it back to the original roots is exactly the place to go. And seeing that Egon Spangler is going to be a vital part of this now that Harold Ramis has passed, I think that's really cool. So, Ghostbusters Afterlife, July 2020. It's going to bury that Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Barely.
Bye, free guy.
Old Bill Murray takes out young Ryan Reynolds at the box office.
All right, last piece of news that we got here. Peter Sarsgaard has joined the cast of The Batman. He is rumored to play Harvey Dent, a.k.a. Two-Face.
I'm reading conflicting stories then, because I read Matthew McConaughey was signed on as Harvey Dent.
Interesting. Where did you get your information from?
The internet.
I haven't seen any.
I think Variety.
Okay, that makes probably a little bit more viable of a source.
So I'm still it's a Batman movie, so again, much like Ghostbusters, I am there no matter what. I think they are loading this sucker up though. And I worry that it'll get to a point where it's so overloaded with villains that we kind of lose track of, this being a Batman movie, or kind of get too involved with all the villains. That's kind of why that original series just went, because we started adding villains. This is even before,
They go one at a time,
yeah,
2 at a time.
Yeah. So it's like it's just you get to, was it Batman and Robin? You've got Mr. Freeze, you've got Poison Ivy, you've got
Bane,
kind of.
I got a really weird question for you, Casey.
What?
Because I got curious, right? Who's right, you or Charlie here, right? And I literally just Googled the Batman Two-Face 2021, right? And I have McConaughey.
I'm more on board with Skarsgård playing Dent. I am, but
I don't think he's got the. This isn't to take anything away from Skarsgård because I think he's fantastic, but I don't think he's got the look for the Dent side of things. I think he could easily pull off the Two-Face side of things.
Right.
He
So
can
what
definitely
you're saying is that he's ugly. Is that what you're getting at?
You need to have a high-profile, good-looking. Because I think that's one of the reasons why there was a little bit of a misstep with Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent. He was too old to play the role.
and he's an asshole.
He was also playing Joker, not Two-Face.
Yeah.
That too. But I'm just saying, in terms of who Harvey Dent is and what he's supposed to be, you need somebody like a McConaughey, like a John Hamm
Are you
kind
saying
of person.
Peter Sarsgaard isn't a good-looking guy? He's not that bad.
I think he's a dashing-looking
Yeah. McConaughey's overrated. No, if you had McConaughey
Give him to his brother Alexander Skarsgård.
That's
wrong family, Brian.
No,
wrong
I'm talking
guys.
from Peter.
Yeah,
No, that's the wrong family.
Peter's not
You're
really-
thinking of a different guy.
Peter Sarsgaard,
Peter's
not
a Sarsgaard.
not a Skarsgård.
Well, still, I also didn't find anything that's even said.
He's on the IMDb, so I don't know. We'll see.
I
I
like
don't know.
Peter Sarsgaard. I think he's a great actor. I think that.
I think
might
this could be
fun.
Yeah.
a thing where they had Paul Dano and Jonah Hill and a million other names thrown in there
Yeah.
for Riddler and Penguin.
I
And
think the thing that is commonly done with Batman movies is they cast them visually before casting them character wise. That's why I think is it Aaron Eckhart?
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Okay, Aaron Eckhart killed it as Harvey Dent.
Yes.
He was the perfect casting for that. So there's a lot of people that need to line up for that role at this point. Yeah. But I think with where they're going with this, I think they've got something in mind with it. And I'm a huge Batman fan. The way that they're casting this,
They're looking for longevity.
yeah,
They're looking for, I need to get this person in here now and get him under contract.
and they're talking about doing spin-offs for every person they're introducing. The Alfred movie is coming.
Because, it's Warner Brothers and they can't just do something simple.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think, and the way that they're casting and the characters that they're announcing, so far, it's showing me that it could. I think they might be looking into doing like the Long Halloween storyline.
That would be.
I think is kind of, which was
Awesome.
roughly, I mean, where Nolan got a lot of his story, like because he wanted to tell the tragedy of Two-Face.
Yeah.
But at this point now, I mean, now we're probably going to be diving in deeper. The minute that we hear that they cast a Solomon Grundy, I know that it's going to be this. I know it's going to be that storyline. But right now, it's looking like it's going to be that story, which would be a very, very unique take in a movie anyway. So.
Yeah, it's like how would they tell that in a 2-hour-long movie, 2.5-hour-long movie? Mm-hmm. So it'd be interesting to see.
I've been hearing a lot of Arkham Asylum stuff in
Yeah.
this too. Like it might just be set there, kind of like the video game was, which was great.
Yeah, and if they do that,
Then it makes sense to have all the villains, and
right.
you have
And if they do that too,
McConaughey pop up for 5 minutes.
I would really want them to. He said that he's not going to, but it would be really cool if they brought in Joaquin Phoenix as Joker for an Arkham Asylum movie. Just bring that Arthur Fleck character over into.
I think they have the opportunity to jumpstart a Batman franchise from that Joker stuff. I mean, you've told the origin story from that perspective now.
Yeah.
It's they have an opportunity to not have to tell that origin story again.
And just pick up where it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep that going. So.
But they will, because it's not a Batman movie.
Right.
That's how it always feels, at least.
The Rogues Gallery is so important to the Batman arc of things.
They just need to go like what they did with Spider-Man for the 100th billionth time. Is he's already got his powers. He's already here. We don't need to see, the Waynes killed off yet again. That was one of my hugest deals with Batman v Superman.
That was?
Well, to begin with, when you're introducing the movie that way, I'm like, I've seen this before. I don't need to see it again.
Right.
And then on top of it, and then, with all these people that are being cast and whatnot, I was hoping to see that there was a particular reason why you cast somebody who you recognized as the Kents between Lauren Cohen and Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
The Waynes.
The Waynes. Did I say Kents?
Yes.
Shit.
He meant to say Martha.
I meant to say Martha.
Martha! My mom's name.
It's like,
We can stop fighting.
We're friends.
Best friends.
I'm just hoping they don't go through the point of they cast all these wonderful actors just to waste the cameo on it again, too. Mm-hmm. Because it's Warner Brothers, so I'm setting myself up for failure, too.
Right. Well, and I mean, I get that, they've got the Avengers, we need the Justice League. I get the mindset behind that, but Batman's a strong enough character to compete with the entire
Avengers.
MCU, in my opinion. You can have an entire Batverse here. You could probably...
That's probably what they should have done.
Yeah, because you can get 15 or 10, 11 years out of this cast at this point. I don't know. Yeah. I'm talking out of my ass.
No, I think you're totally right.
Is that what wrestling guys do? No.
Do you know what a collar and elbow tie-up is, Brian?
No, but I'm afraid you're going to show me.
I do.
All right, I got one more question for this Batman news. Do you guys think it's going to go R-rated? We saw the huge success of the Joker R-rated. No?
No.
Just because it's Batman in the title?
Yeah.
I would love it. It would be great.
I don't think it needs it. I don't think it needs it, no.
No,
it won't happen.
Definitely doesn't need it. I loved Joker. I went into Joker thinking this is gonna suck, and I don't think I've always been of the mindset that Joker doesn't need an origin. He's scarier when he doesn't.
Right.
They changed my mind on that with this movie.
Yeah.
And
I still don't think he necessarily needed an origin story, but I think this one did a good justification.
And it leaves the question open: is that his origin story?
Right.
And I think they end it like a Joker movie should. Yeah.
Yeah, and with the did this all happen or was this all in his head?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is the news for the week. Let's get into our bracket here. We're gonna have it throw down between you two,
before
Andy
we
and Charlie.
start, I showed up. I showed up. I did my part. I'm doing my job here.
Yeah, you are here.
I'm here. I did say that we need something on the line before we start this bracket up.
Don't you worry, Charlie.
He's just a little guy.
Andre, the little guy, is here.
There we go.
I can believe the new bracket, Charlie.
Now that I realize that he's 2 inches tall, now I understand why he was so out of focus. Because you were trying to zoom in.
That Andre could only have about one can of beer.
Oh no, this is at least a 6-pack.
I don't want to go home with this little man on the... I don't want to!
Don't make me live with him, buddy.
Bring me a case of wine on the... Ha-ha! Bring me a case of wine! That's what we've come down to, is competing Andre
We're just going to do Andre voices for the rest of the podcast.
All right, this is out of hand.
You invited the two of us on the same episode. We get out of hand when we talk about random movies.
Hey, at least we know this. If we were going to have an Andre the Giant bracket, at least we know what movie would win.
What movie?
He was only in one.
Yeah. Yeah, see, exactly. I know.
All
It'd be a very small bracket.
Other than the greatest comedy movie of all times.
I'm on the book squad.
All right, Andy, are you putting this on the line then?
Anybody want a peanut? Look, here's the thing. Andre is here. Andre has been brought in. So, let's do this.
This is a piece of your childhood, Andy.
Andre the Giant
I'm
has
all
been...
about ruining Andy's childhood.
Andre the Giant has been in my family for 32 years.
He doesn't look a day over 20.
No, he's a very spry-looking fella. I remember the story very well as to how I came into possession of this Andre the Giant clip figurine. I was at Kmart in Omaha, Nebraska, being a little bastard, looking at all the toys, being like, I want this, I want this.
That was not a shout-out to Hornswoggle.
I saw that.
But if we can get him on here, though.
Yeah, I could try.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Hornswoggle.
Real name Dylan.
We'll talk Leprechaun with you, Hornswoggle.
Yeah, I found this thing at Kmart, and, I was the kind of kid that wanted my toys. I wanted my wrestling figures. I wanted my Andre the Giant stuff. I found that clip, and I was like, I want this! I want this! I want this! I want this! My mom saw the price tag on it, looked at me, and said, shut up, and put it in the cart. And then I got to leave with my Andre the Giant pin. That Andre the Giant pin made it into my first grade class photo and is now nestled atop my Christmas tree every holiday season.
Fantastic.
Means
Well, I cannot.
the world to me.
I cannot thank you enough for bringing it here. I actually wore a XXL NWO Wolfpack shirt in my 4th grade picture. And I do mean that in the size, because it was the only one available, and I needed to walk out with a Wolfpack shirt.
Yep. You get
Thanks,
that point where
Walmart.
Like, for me, it was like, I'll buy 3 sizes too small. Why not?
Right. I can't find pants shopping is an ordeal for me, guys, in a totally opposite way.
Yeah.
But, well, I appreciate you bringing that, and I'm sorry that I might have to ruin your childhood.
You won't. He'll be nestled safely with me. It's
Are you sure?
Very sure. I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Do you? You seem confident.
Cue the dun dun dun.
Can we do this?
Let's
I'm
do
waiting
this.
for like a drum beat, and then you hear, if you smell...
Kicks open the door.
He's just going to cut a promo on us. Listen here, you short little bald man.
You! What's your name? It doesn't matter what your name is!
You taco-loving fat man. Listen here, The Rock's been in 16, 17, 18, 19 movies, all number 1, number 2, sometimes number 3.
I want you to fry up those tortillas real nice. I want you to spread that beef all over the tortilla. I want you to throw on your tomatoes, your lettuce, your sour cream, your cheese. I want you to roll that tortilla up, shove it sideways, and stick it up your candy ass.
Well, that was... aside from the ass part, one, great promo. Secondly, I've never wanted a taco more in my life. Just describe that. So,
Man, I had to just take it away.
Yeah, and stick it in my ass.
That's not how you eat tacos. That's
That's just how they
it's
go
not.
out.
No. Well, shit.
You've been doing this wrong.
You guys are learning about my life now.
We've learned too much about Charlie's ass today.
Charlie's ass has gotten some play.
There is a great video. For those, I will plug this. I am the commentary person for Magnum Pro Wrestling. I got shoved against the wall by one of the professional wrestlers there in a video, and it looks like I got probed. It looks like I was going to the mothership. It was pretty great.
All right, let's see if Andy's childhood gets probed and Charlie takes off with the Andre clip. I don't know how we're determining this, but
yeah, I am not going to probe Andy's childhood.
all right, so let's just kick it off. We got 16 movies in this bracket. We're going to let you two decide which movie will move on. Brian will be the tiebreaker if it comes down to it.
It moves on. If it doesn't, if we don't, we move on to Brian.
Then Brian will be the tiebreaker. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I've seen some of these movies.
Yeah, so have I. And I like some of them.
All right, number 1 seed Moana versus the number 16 seed Faster.
I'm going let you start.
Oh, okay, good. This is an easy pick for me. There is no competition here. Moana is delightful. It's fun to have The Rock do a voice in an animated film because he's just so dang charismatic.
And he can sing.
And he can sing. It's a lot of fun hearing him
Who would have
sing.
thought
So,
that he could sing?
yeah, if you've watched the WWE at all over the years,
Yeah,
you
The
would
Rock can
know
sing.
He can sing that Heartbreak Hotel. Yeah,
SmackDown Hotel.
SmackDown Hotel.
Thank you.
Yeah, Moana is an easy winner here in this first round for me.
I am going to start this off by agreeing with Andy, actually, which I didn't think that we'd started off there. But The Rock is extremely charismatic. I also want to give a shout out because he wasn't cast just because of his charisma with this. This was a movie about his culture, and that I think this movie
It was a good
something to
synergy.
him. Yeah, exactly. There was a good synergy to it. Great music. He played one of my favorite comedic relief characters in an animated film in a long time.
Yeah.
So, because it was just fantastic. I loved it.
I feel like him and that actress who does the voice of Moana in this really bring up very, for an animated film, it's hard to kind of, you don't get to see the characters' faces. You don't get to see that extra little flair. But I think through their voices, they bring that personal connection to it, where it's just everything they say is really laced with that kind of passion and drive for the story. So, yeah, this is a really great movie.
Yeah.
And I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I'm just trying to picture The Rock versus the guy from Flight of the Conchords.
Jermaine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do love, and I wish I could have been a part of the studio if they were together in the studio, but I would have loved to have seen The Rock and Alan Tudyk
Oh my
together
right.
in the same room. Just some kind of snark, like different kinds of snark between each other.
Alan Tudyk is just so great.
He
He's
is.
such a great
He is.
voice actor. Just a great actor in general. Yeah.
All right, Moana moves on. Number 8 seed Snitch. Number 9 seed Pain and Gain. Charlie, we'll kick it off to you. Which one do you want to see more?
Which one do I want to see more? You know what? With this one, because of the supporting cast, I feel like that is what got him his hatred toward John Cena. I'm going Pain and Gain because of Mark Wahlberg on this one.
Yeah. This podcast in particular likes to give a lot of shit to Michael Bay, which is
Not me.
well deserved. Want to take that back, Brian?
Nope.
But I actually think this is a fun Michael Bay movie because it's not all about explosions. Oh, you still get the zoom around the character as they're standing up in slow motion. There's still all that. But this is a lot of fun, and it takes some crazy twists and turns, and it's based off of a true story, and it is wild as hell. So, yeah, Pain and Gain.
Well, we'll say it's based off a true story, but enough where the family wanted to sue Michael Bay for inflammatory because it wasn't quite exactly accurate.
Right. It was a little bit of a stretch in some of it, but I think
Michael Bay
Michael Bay
taking
to fight
a
it.
movie and stretching it?
Right.
wouldn't
No,
take any
guys,
creative
he
liberties.
never would do
But
that.
you do have people that are in this movie that's like, if I'm going to make an over-the-top, just stupid, fun movie, though, Michael Bay is going to be your director. Like, you're going to go, Tony Shalhoub is in a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And Anthony Mackie.
The voice of Bumblebee.
It's good stuff. Ugh, I gotta keep stretching. Sorry, guys.
You were fine.
All right, number 4, we got Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and number 13 seed San Andreas.
This one doesn't even really need to be talked about.
I think Andy's over here going, San Andreas.
Man, I love
He's a San
The Rock.
Andreas stan.
I love it when he's a helicopter pilot. No, Jumanji. Jumanji is a better sequel than it should be. Like, this is a movie that really should not have been made, and they made it so it had value and worth. And I think a lot of that has to do with the casting.
And they
the
spun it
Rockets.
the right way in terms of making it a sequel instead of a reboot and honoring the Robin Williams Jumanji.
Right. Yeah, I think this one's great. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Is that
Yes.
a little subtitle to it? Yeah. Big vote for me, Jumanji.
I'm gonna vote for Jumanji, not for The Rock though. I'm gonna again for his supporting cast.
Yeah.
The Rock and Kevin Hart have something I'm gonna give them that. But The
This,
Rock,
they're what, like on their 4th or 5th movie now?
yeah. But the Rock and Jack Black
Yeah.
is another one that I just
I need to see more of that.
yeah, exactly.
Like these 4 people. Well, hell, let's even throw Nick Jonas in there for a little bit here or whatnot. But no, just the
was he
casting.
even in the Jonas Brothers?
They are back together, I guess.
He wasn't even a part of that.
I listen to too much music. But no, I mean, just overall, like you look at some of this casting, and at first you're like picture Jack Black and like Kevin Hart together in a comedic movie. Yeah, you could solely pull that up. You know, you put all these together, get Karen Gillian in there, you're just like the chick from Doctor Who and from Guardians, and then just all of a sudden you're like, you know, they just all click.
You don't get that very often, which is awesome. I did live I literally lived near the San Andreas fault line at one point in my life, and I will say that
It's scary.
The fear of an earthquake is a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. But I don't know. Jumanji's still the better movie.
Yeah. I'm curious. Is San Andreas, since you've got the computer, Casey, is San Andreas a Dean Devlin, Roland Emmerich movie? I can't remember because it seems like it's something that they would do. The Independence Day 2012, that variety of movie.
The disaster movie.
Yeah.
Brad Payton was
I
the
don't know
director.
who that is.
Yeah.
So.
He's the director of San Andreas.
That's right.
This is what you
Show
supposedly
the man
do.
some
And
respect.
then he follows it up with Rampage.
Oh, good. So we're going to talk about some great movies, the great works of Brad Payton.
He also
right.
directed Journey 2, which The Rock was also in.
Let me
So
add
it's-
Brad
it's-
Payton
so-
to my esteemed list of directors.
So this
that I
Brad
love.
guy just seems to really like The Rock. It's almost. I would almost bet to say this dude is like on.
I feel like The Rock's in charge.
No,
At this point, The Rock is calling the shots, and he's like, "This dude's my bitch." Tell him to say this.
that's what I was gonna get at. Is like I would almost bet to say his paychecks have the Rock's production company on the from line.
Exactly.
It's definitely a thing where he's just hired to make sure everything's done correctly, and The Rock's calling the shots.
Yep.
All right, let's
The
move
Rock
on.
needs a mouthpiece. What?
We also get the team up of The Rock and Kevin Hart, their first time teaming up. Central Intelligence at number 5, and the number 12, Get Smart, co-starring Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway.
Now, for the sake of Get Smart, he is a supporting character. He's not the main draw.
He's not the lead, but he is a pretty big part.
He's a big part. He's trying to be the James Bond of the Get Smart.
Let's not forget that this was also the greatest movie the Great Khali was ever in.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Let's not forget.
You have clearly never watched MacGruber.
Oh yeah.
Was Khali in?
MacGruber has
MacGruber?
at the very beginning. It's like 5,
5 or 6 wrestlers in it.
and they're-
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You need to watch
He's hiring
MacGruber.
the elite squad, and he
Led by
gets
Chris
them-
Jericho.
Yep. And they are about ready to go on this big, huge mission, and then what? Does the plane explode?
They're all in the bus with the bombs, and it just blows up, and they all die. Like the world's elite
Well,
badass.
now that I have that movie on my must-watch
Yeah,
list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie, you can start on this one.
We're not talking about MacGruber. We are talking about Get Smart and what was our...
Central Intelligence.
Okay, so I just watched Central Intelligence. I'm going to tell you that the thing that I did appreciate about this movie, and I think I said this before we started, is that The Rock had a very dry sense of humor in this movie. He played the awkward kid who was the fat kid in high school, and then he got all buff, and now he's back, and now he's wanted by the FBI. And he played the I'm stuck in high school mindset very well because he was super dry. I really loved that part of it. However, Get Smart was, in my opinion, the first time that I was like, oh, The Rock is a movie star.
Yeah.
I think that The Rock is a movie star, and he's standing up there with Anne Hathaway, who is the love of my life.
Understandable.
I'm just kidding. My wife will listen to this. I love Anne Hathaway. I love that movie altogether. That was also Steve Carell's big movie breakout role as well before he started diving into more serious stuff.
Right.
So I'm gonna give it to Get Smart.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same way on this one. Mostly because I have not seen Central Intelligence.
But by the sounds of it, you don't need to.
I'm fine with not. But Get Smart is like, it's one of those dumb, fun movies that you can just put on and be like, yeah, this is good background noise. And it is. It's, The Rock is definitely supporting in this. He's a very small part, but it's enough to be like, you know what?
It's enough to put him on the poster.
Yeah, you see it all there that this is somebody who is going to go on to do better movies.
Yeah.
So.
Get Smart seems like the movie Michael Scott would have wrote in The Office.
Yes, it's that. What is it?
Michael Scarn.
Michael Scarn. Yeah. It's exactly that movie.
I will say,
it's perfectly that way.
I wish I could.
And I will say for Steve Carell films that, because I'm not a huge fan of him, he's like the only person I think that could have made that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His Maxwell Smart is very much like the TV character.
Yes.
Yeah. He did a great job.
All right, let's move to this next side of the bracket. We got number 2 seed Fighting With My Family, number 15 at Gridiron Gang. So he is the lead in Gridiron Gang, a very small part in Fighting With My Family. But all over the marketing, so we'll count it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kick things off with a personal story. I saw a Gridiron Gang in theaters, but I spent most of that movie in a romantic altercation with an ex-girlfriend during the runtime of that movie. So just because of that, Fighting With My Family is going to win.
Wait, romantic altercation? Like, the way you worded that,
Listen.
I can't tell if that's a fight or if you put a hole in popcorn. Like,
look, because of my current relationship status, I want to refrain from details.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, that relationship did not end well.
Oh, got it.
Was it because of Gridiron Gang?
Because I paid for us to
It
go
wasn't
see
The Rock's
Gridiron
fault. It was mainly Exhibit's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
X to the Z.
It was not interesting enough to hold my attention, so Fighting With My Family. I actually like Fighting With My Family. I think Fighting With My Family is a really enjoyable movie. He is such a supporting part in this, but for being a fan of wrestling for so long, getting a movie like this that is, a mainstream movie about like someone who started in the indies and just kind of hit it big, like within that business, within that company, gets this huge movie. I think that's awesome. This is a fun movie. I don't think I loved it as much as I wanted to, but I just really had a good time with it. And so Fighting With My Family is, that's the win. Yeah.
I feel like Gridiron Gang is a movie that's really trying to be Remember the Titans.
I was going to say that or like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. I feel like it's trying to be something. And I know that Gridiron Gang is also a true story. So, it was... Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that movie, and I really wasn't a big fan of The Rock in that movie, honestly. But I do agree with you that Fighting With My Family should move on. And I got my opinions on this one only because I'm a little bit more inside on the wrestling world. And, like, for example, Serena Knight in that movie... Well, that was not the Serena Knight that I've heard stories about
That
backstage.
was the PG version of...
Oh, man. Serena Knight, it uses the C word like she's saying...
Apple
hey,
juice?
Man, yeah, like...
This seems like Fighting With My Family is the Disney princess version.
Oh, it totally is. It totally is. But I will say, I really like that movie. Vince Vaughn did a really great job in that movie, which surprised me. I think that he understood the role because when he made the line of Paige's brother being a journeyman, and then you find out like that's exactly what he was and what his role in wrestling was. So there's a lot of guys that probably really, really clung to Vince Vaughn's story in that too. So just from a more dramatic aspect anyway, but Fighting With My Family moves on.
I'd be interesting to ask you, Charlie, from people that you talk to about that movie. So the way that they portray Saraya Paige's rise through the WWE and NXT, those 3 other women that she is like grouped with, like if you're a fan of it, you know that she kind of came up at the time of like Charlotte and Sasha Banks and
she came up before them though.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Becky. Becky is probably the closest thing to coming up the same way that Paige did.
Right.
But the other three were a little bit more, I don't know, Hollywood raised.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. Not to say I think they're phenomenal workers.
Yeah.
All of them. But yeah.
You're just saying it helped that they knew somebody.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. I think the three of them would have made it on their own. And they
just went in a different path.
Yeah, exactly. They just had a different path.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I remember watching the movie and like I was like, but like these people that she came up with, they're working really hard too. It's like show that they're working hard as well to try and make it, instead of it's just they're getting by on their looks. I don't feel like necessarily that's because at that time that felt like when there was starting to be that slight transition from when the female wrestlers were getting by on their ability,
right,
instead of just being the
yeah. There was a lot, and maybe we could talk about more about that as we kind of have the bracket. But I think that's they took an interesting approach about it.
Yeah.
The Knight family are bananas.
Yeah,
and I forget what Paige's dad's name is now off the top of my head, but Mr. Knight. They did a pretty good job of explaining who he actually is, guys.
Well, that's where I look at this movie as I'm obviously not as well renowned in the wrestling world as you guys are, but in terms of Stephen Merchant's directing and writing of this movie, it's like when you think of who's the one who made this movie, and it was The Rock is the one who wanted to get this movie made. Like, how do these two even meet in the same room? Right. But then on top of that too, the people that he cast in their specific roles, like you mentioned that his dad and whatnot, I can't picture anybody else but Nick Frost playing that.
Yeah.
He freaking killed
and
that.
And it needed to be more of a comedy.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It is a crazy story, but I mean, they could, if they went the rated R route of that, everybody would have been like, "This is a train wreck." How did you ever become popular in anything?
Who the hell are these people?
And I'm like, oh no, that's Sarai Knight. Like, and she thinks you're a cunt. So.
And I will point out the fact, since we brought her up earlier in regards to Black Widow, with Florence this will be the first of 4 movies in 15 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, obviously if anybody is literally rising to the top right now, it's definitely her. Because when I started doing my math, when she comes out in Black Widow here, I'm like, holy shit.
Fighting with Family, Midsummer, Little Women.
And then Black Widow.
Just like, yeah, when I first saw her in Lady Macbeth, I was like, shit, she is going to be something special. So
I'm glad she's getting the well-served screen time.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, number 7, Hobson Shaw, the spin-off to the Fast and the Furious series, and number 10, Hercules.
Hercules. So we have to choose between Joey and... Oh, god damn it, Dwayne, make better movies.
I don't know. Whoever wants to kick it off can kick it off between these two.
All I have to, I'm just gonna say Hobson Shaw. Like, I don't really have anything to say. Like, Hobson Shaw is the most bizarre, like, spin-off of Fast and Furious. Let's take a car series that started out about stealing DVD players and turn it into these 2 agents that don't get along fighting a superhero, like
Black Superman.
Oh god,
Idris Elba.
But,
no, I'm voting it for Idris Elba.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing here.
Yep.
Yes.
But no matter what, it's still better than Hercules. So
yeah.
And for me, Hercules was the type of thing where, like, there was nothing about Hercules that made me want to go see it.
Right.
The Rock with hair.
Not even The Rock?
The Rock with hair.
Yeah.
No, and where obviously I'm a nerd for the Fast and Furious franchise, so they already had my money with that right there alone. But I'm like, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie just because of how absurd some of the stuff was. Like watching Jason Statham drive, up the 45-degree angle up.
I like how, have we all seen Hobbs and Shaw here?
No.
He was never going to.
All right. It doesn't really matter because it's.
Well, and here's the deal. I could have voted for Hercules, but then the tiebreaker is fucking Brian.
Right. Good call. Good call. At the
It's
end,
like you've listened to me talk about.
the final sequence is like, chain connected to a vehicle, connected to a vehicle, connected to a vehicle, connected to the rock, holding a chain, connected to a helicopter. Like, what is happening? How is this?
He's the strongest
That's
monkey in the barrel.
right.
That's what it is.
Like, so for me, this is just absurd. But yet at the same time, there's something about it that
fantastic
it's
cinema is
that's
what it is, Andy.
Like,
You know it's fantastic cinema when the motorcycles transform and they literally make the transformer sound.
They did that?
oh my
Why
God.
haven't I seen this movie?
Idris Elba's motorcycle is like self-driving, but like when he goes to go like underneath the semi, like the chassis literally shifts sideways, and as it's doing it, it literally makes a transformer sound.
It's amazing.
Just cross the two over already.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Why?
Vin Diesel
I bet
drive
you guys
Optimus
couldn't
Prime.
guess that I'm a fan of like huge campiness because of my background.
knowing The Rock has worked with Michael Bay, how has he not ended up in a Transformers movie?
Oh, it's gonna happen.
It'll
It's
happen.
gonna happen.
He's like,
There's no
well, I already got Mark Wahlberg. He's done. Let's get The Rock.
Let's
Yeah.
get Vin Diesel behind the wheel of Optimus Prime to make this happen.
Optimus is all about family.
Autobots is family.
All right. Number 3, another Fast and the Furious movie, Fast 5. Number 14, Skyscraper. And then let's move on.
For those who don't have the visual aid, Casey wrote down Fast 5 without consulting either.
The two players. No.
That's because we have a tiebreaker. We don't have to disagree on this.
Unless you both go with Skyscraper for the win.
Well, I'm not. So.
Yeah, I can't go with Skyscraper. Yeah. Anyway, what do we got next?
All right. Number 6, The Rundown. Number 11, Rampage.
Ooh.
So a newer rock film versus a very early rock film. Mm-hmm. Even one when he was still going by The Rock in the credits.
Yeah.
This one's actually hard.
It is.
Not
It is.
for me. this one's one of the easier
Yeah,
ones.
I think I gotta go. Again, the Rock is just like in wrestling. You are nothing without your dance partner. Sean William Scott is in the Rundown. Mm-hmm. Christopher fucking Walken is in the Rundown.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson is in it. Yep. So I got to go with the Rundown on this one. I love CGI gorillas as much as the next guy, but I also love movies about. I saw this when I was in high school. Stealing a diamond.
Right.
I want to say, and the fact that Christopher Walken wants to steal a diamond from Sean William Scott and The Rock. I think we gotta go that route, right? And I
want to know who the casting director was, because they're literally throwing darts at the board, going, "Yeah, that's gonna work."
Cool. Put them on the board.
Put them. Who do we got in our price range? Fuck it, it's Walken.
Good call. We won it.
Walken sweat in the jungle.
Who cares? We got Sean William Scott. We got Stifler.
It's a diamond.
Andy, The Rundown.
Oh yeah, the Rundown. If for no other reason than that scene when Arnold Schwarzenegger is leaving the club and says, "You got," or something like, "You got this, kid," to The Rock. So it was like a passing of the torch of action superstars, and that's good
Wonderful.
stuff.
All right, let's move on.
And I definitely know that's why that's the only reason why that was even there.
Oh yeah,
He basically getting the sign of approval.
Those two still just need to be in a movie together.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
All right, let's move to the second round. Number 1, Moana versus number 9, Pain and Gain. Two very different movies.
Wow, yeah. How well did you build this bracket out?
Who ranked this out?
Yeah, I was looking when you had the little list of alternate choices underneath there, the other movies of The Rock. We'll talk about that later because I see some stuff on there that I'm like, I would have voted for that. Yeah. Oh, man.
This is off IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes scores combined.
Totally
This is why he doesn't build brackets.
My favorite one's not on this bracket either. So
yeah, we don't have Tooth Fairy on here.
it's not on there. Andy, what are you going with?
Moana.
Moana?
Yeah, I as much as I am an actual fan of Pain and Gain, Moana is just great, and some of the songs from there get stuck in my head for days. So
Blame Lin-Manuel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's got to be Moana. I mean, yep.
Moana?
It's got to be Moana.
It's got to be.
He doesn't want to agree with me,
I don't.
but he does.
I don't.
You guys still have not disagreed yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. What's
on
going
movies.
Yeah. Life philosophies are entirely different thing, Casey.
We just got Charlie over here going, I want to disagree, but it got asshole over here. It's going to just not let me win anyway.
God damn it, why are all the fast
Fast and
ones on
Furious
here?
movies.
Damn it, Brian.
The entire side
I'm
bracket.
actually not fighting with Andy. I'm fighting with Brian this whole time.
The feud's going to switch.
Yeah, it's like Fast 5, Fast 6, Hobson Shaw, Fast 7.
Brian's my TV program until
We have
Andy gets to
Fate
the
of the
pay-per-view.
Furious on here.
I would not have done that to you if I would have built the bracket. I'm just saying.
Number 4, Jumanji versus number 12, Get Smart.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jumanji.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going with Get Smart
Are you
on this
really?
one, yes.
All right.
I saw that one. I was like, I think this might be the first
this
one.
is it. I'm going to go with Jumanji on this one. I think it's, like I said earlier, it's a sequel that didn't need to be this good, and I had a lot of fun with it. And it's probably for the rest of the cast more than The Rock. I think Jack Black is great. Karen Gillan is great. And just the kids and how they kind of bring the kids' energy into the movie works really well for me.
Man, who would have thought The Rock would do such a great as the nerdy white kid?
Yeah.
As somebody who knows that fan base, I think he probably had a lot of first-hand experience with
You're
that.
probably right.
Yeah.
He's met a few nerdy white kids.
He's seen a few yellow stained black T-shirts, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm going Get Smart on this one. Big reason behind that is, one,
It's Anne Hathaway.
we're really well, not Anne Hathaway. We are looking at a sequel versus a TV to movie make here, and I think that Get Smart is one of very few TV to movie makes, as from TV to big screen, that actually did the television show justice and all the characters justice as well. And then in addition to that, I think that Get Smart was, again, I'll go back to my original argument why I voted for it in the first round. The first time that we saw The Rock in a movie next to actual Hollywood actors and thought, he's a big star in this movie.
All right, so this first time you were split down the middle.
Wow.
Brian, coming down to you.
It only took us 16 movies and 9 tries to get there.
Yeah.
Brian, what are you going to go with to break this tiebreaker?
And honestly, I'm extremely torn. Mainly because I have a love-hate relationship for Steve Carell, but Charlie makes a very valid point in terms
As I'm one to do.
And
I don't know if you knew that I'm pretty damn good with words.
Well, and I say that
If I'm not good at anything, i.e. being a lover.
and I say that in respect of the original TV show because I was a huge fan of the show. Obviously, I watched it in syndication, but that was back before Nick at Night and all that stuff when it was on. And I think Steve Carell absolutely crushed it in that movie, and it was very well cast. Jumanji is that sequel that nobody needed, but I'm glad
needed. Yeah,
exactly. And you're like, and after like when he did the sequel for Journey to the Center of the Earth, and he's doing all the franchise,
not even The Rock can replace Brendan Fraser.
The franchise Viagra.
The franchise Viagra. You're like, oh my god, are they really doing this? And you saw the first trailer, you're like, shit, The Rock has my money.
Yep. He had my money before he was a movie star, just so you guys know.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Karen Gillan is in Jumanji.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway is in Get Smart. And Hero from Heroes is in Get Smart.
It's true. That's true.
Isn't Alan Arkin?
Alan Arkin plays the
Smart?
boss.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I'm going to go Get Smart.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
I've got to go with the...
Papa loves this!
I mean, Jumanji is a great movie, but I mean...
Yes.
It's,
Wow.
This is one of the, like...
Brian
This is like
has
one of the
teamed up
like
with.
3 movies of Steve Carell's that I can actually watch.
I'm seeing the turn already.
It feels good. It
Ready to
feels
see
good.
you two do a Mega Powers handshake.
We already know it's going to lose to Moana. We already know it's going to lose to Moana anyway.
Well, don't
The
no
principle
spoiler
of the matter,
alert.
Brian. All right, Fighting with My Family, number 2 seed versus Hobson Shaw, number 7.
I hate this one.
I think this is a funny pairing. I really do.
I want you to talk because I'm still a little torn on this one.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, going back to it, here's what I do find funny, because one thing about the Fast franchise is they do push that family aspect to it. Fighting with My Family is movie about a family.
Right.
So, I mean, essentially, we have kind of the same underlying themes with these with these two movies. So it's a very tough decision in my opinion. But I do have to give it to Fighting with My Family only because of who I am and my background. So I don't think that's a hard vote for me.
Yeah, and I wasn't really torn. I just wanted to see if I had to deal with Brian again on this one. so yeah. Fighting with My Family gets my vote for this one, too. It's, if for no other reason than, any of the storyline and the content and getting to see, like, this is kind of like the first big release that deals with the wrestling world outside of the Wrestler and Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that. And then, again, Florence Pugh is just fantastic. So, yeah, Fighting with My Family over Superman versus Two Spies.
I will say
Roman
this.
Reigns wins again.
I will say this, and even if it did come to me here, which might actually throw you guys for a little bit of a loop, I actually would have gone with Fighting.
What?
And this is why. And yes, Hobson Shaw is.
I am baffled.
He hates Roman Reigns.
No, Roman Reigns totally needed more lines in that movie, by the way.
He didn't have any, right?
He didn't have any.
He
Not a single
did
one.
his ooh-ah. That was it.
That's all Roman Reigns needs.
No, so
Hello, baby
you
girl.
go to a especially nowadays, you go to a Fast and Furious movie just for the sake of it's just a popcorn movie. It's just there to make Universal money.
Right.
There's going to be the plot holes. There's going to be The Rock holding on to 7 cars with a chain from a helicopter. But Fighting with Your Family is, like I said, it's The Rock teaming up with somebody like Stephen Merchant to put a story out there that is not, you're right. Basically, the last time we've had anything like this has been since the Wrestler. And, yes, Stephen Merchant took the comedic route with it, which was probably, a better way to do it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas Darren Aronofsky went definitely the grittier way,
Right.
So, no, I actually would have gone with Fighting because, if you're going to have some of these great stories that probably should and need to be told.
Ric Flair, fucking do it.
Yes. Yes. We need that.
I will go see Hobson Shaw because it's got my money. But it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
There was good behind Fighting.
Yep.
All right, last matchup that we got here in the second round.
Minds.
I wish I would have gotten to see the ooh-ah scene. Like, that's the only thing. Because, me and my buddies will talk to each other as if we're Roman Reigns, trying to talk about his matches. Oh yeah, hey man, we're gonna come out here and I'm gonna hit you with that Superman punch, yeah, and you're gonna go down, but just don't let me pin you, okay, dog? Don't let me pin you. And then every time he grabs the mic, just like, hey, what's up, baby girl?
All right, Fast 5 versus The Rundown.
It would be fun to do a little spin-off of, like, Roman Reigns, phone sex operator.
Let me bring you down to my island. All right?
And every female wrestling fan is just like, here's my money.
If you don't, okay, so before we get on to this next one, do you guys remember when the wrestling fans? Do you remember when the Shield was kind of on their first big emergence?
Yeah.
So they did a 6-man matchup on Main Event.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was the Shield against somebody. They ended up winning it. Renee Young comes into the ring. Renee Young, who is John Moxley, at the time Dean Ambrose's actual girlfriend at the time, she's holding the microphone to Roman, and he goes, "What's up, Renee?" And Dean is just in the back. It's like, what a sleazeball.
Just another reason for Dean Ambrose to be upset.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. I don't have anything to say about Roman Reigns being a phone sex operator. I mean, if he wants to make some money on the side, that's a good way.
I think he's made plenty of money on the side. Roman Reigns, date for a night.
Swipe right.
By the end of it, you'll be saying, ooh, ah.
Coming this summer. Hey, yo. Swipe right, baby girl.
You want a date with the big dog?
We're just going to keep talking about the Roman Reigns sex line.
Why don't you come on over to my yard?
Just make sure when this goes out to social media, we do hashtag Roman Reigns sex line. See how that.
I bet that hashtag's already been started.
Yeah, well, we clicked that hashtag. We're like, oh, this is a thing. This is a thing.
Why is there over 100,000?
Oh, don't click on the Seth Rollins sex line. Don't do it. Don't do it. You guys know that I'm the champion. I'm cool, damn it. I'm the best in the world. I'm the best wrestler ever. You want to talk about my dog, Kevin? Oh, I'm going to get bashed so hard. Come to my coffee shop.
This is why we don't let them in the room.
I'm from Iowa. I'm from Iowa. Sorry.
So is Casey.
Oh, fuck. I know he is, but
I have
Seth
to.
Rollins.
I know. I have to defend him. That's all we have.
All you have is
Seth Rollins and Slipknot.
I was about to say, you got Slipknot?
That's all we have.
Seth Rollins.
That's
and
it.
Slipknot.
That's it. All right, let's get on with this.
All right,
Fast Five versus the Rundown.
Yeah, Fast Five. For me, Fast Five made me interested in a franchise that up to that point I really did not give a shit about. I did not like Fast and the Furious until I saw Fast Five, and then I went back and watched the other ones, and I was like, okay, these other ones are all right, but this one,
except for John Singleton's.
oh nope. Was that Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yep.
I did not like that one. I still don't.
That is the the stepchild. You're just like,
Leave that one over here. But yeah, my vote goes to Fast Five.
My vote's going to the Rundown. Ooh. So we got another one, which
You already know what's going to happen.
I know it's going to happen, but I feel like this was The Rock's first leading role, and he did a great job in this one. Again, and the comedic aspect of everything, this is the first time that you saw that the world got to see The Rock as not just an action star, but the comedic chops on that. So I think giving it to him plus his supporting cast between Rosario Dawson and Christopher Walken, I think it's just an all-around more fun movie.
All right, Brian, let's break this.
damn it. God damn it.
Don't act like I know I lost, Brian.
He's going to kick a Fast and the Furious movie off the list again. He's going to be like, but I like the Rundown.
I do like the Rundown.
I know.
Because
But it's not called Fast and the Furious.
He just said that.
But I mean, especially one of the ones that always I keep in mind when I think of the Rundown is when both him and Sean William Scott are hanging upside down and they're all like doped out of their mind. He's like, I can't feel my tongue, and he can't talk. Just the chemistry between those two. Like, I wish there was more.
Those are two actors that bring chemistry along with it. Like they're both able to look like they're clicking with their co-stars.
You're not wrong there. I do think that The Rock definitely helped bring in more fresh into the Fast and Furious franchise.
I think it became a franchise because of him. Why am I arguing for you?
I think it became a franchise because of Justin Lin.
Okay.
I think because Justin Lin started with 3 into 4 into 5 and 6. Okay. So I think the franchise got a resurgence with Justin Lin. He was the right guy at the right time.
But
since I killed Hobson Shaw, I'll go with Fast 5.
You're dead to me.
Hey, right now I'm 50-50 is what it is.
Just like the booking in WWE.
God, what has he done?
They killed him! They killed him! Good God, they killed him!
all right, final four here: Moana versus Get Smart.
Look. Get Smart is just living on borrowed time anyway. Moana is... I had to throw just a little bit of something in there. Moana, I think Moana is just a great movie. Yeah, I'm going to vote for Moana. I don't really have anything extra to say. It's delightful.
It's
a
Moana.
Delightful movie. Yeah.
Charlie.
I feel like Get Smart got as far as it's going to get as well, even though I voted for it. Moana, yes. Again, we're talking one of the best animated films in a decade. I mean, that it's got to be in the finals. So.
All right, let's see what's going to go up against Fighting with My Family versus Fast 5. Will Fighting take out another Fast and the Furious movie?
This one is actually trickier than Fighting with My Family versus Hobson Shaw because Fast 5 is actually pretty good. Man.
If you could do me a favor and stop bashing Roman Reigns.
Look, I have a Roman shirt at home. So there was there was a moment in time where I was fully into Roman Reigns. So I get it.
I mean, you did come up with that sex line, so I'm sure you were into him at one point.
He's thought about it a little bit.
Nothing like some big dog geese style. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Fast 5. Again, I like Fighting with My Family quite a bit, and it's one that grew on me after the first time I saw it. And I thought it was good, but I've come to kind of like it more the more that Florence Pugh gets attention, and she still deserves it. But I'm gonna go with Fast 5 here. It's one of those action movies that you can just put on, turn your brain off, and just watch two bald beefcakes and beat the shit out of
that
each
was
other.
my nickname in high school.
Bald beefcake.
2 bald beefcakes.
2 bald beefcakes.
Is that going to be your tag team name, too?
Yeah, the heist at the end of Fast 5 is just incredible. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Fast 5. It's a good time.
Let's do this. I'm going with Fighting with My Family.
Understandable.
On this one. Again, because of my background and everything on this. Now, I know I'm going into this fight against Brian again with Fast 5, who also won the tiebreaker in the last one. But Fighting with My Family is one of those films you can bring your family to. Like, it could be paired with a family movie, but maybe like your preteens. Like, this is their first shot into a PG-13 movie with the family.
Yeah.
Again, The Rock really didn't have much of a role in this movie because I think if I were to take a stab at it, that role was originally supposed to go to someone like a Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
A John Cena.
A John Cena.
Right.
Maybe. Well, The Rock makes more sense because, he's got a lot of pull in WWE.
Yeah.
Well, not that John Cena doesn't. But I am going with Fighting with My Family because I do think that this story of the Knight family needs to have more attention on it, as opposed to, there are a lot of wrestling families, but this is the one that's always kind of been in the dark, and I'm glad to see that the Knight family got what they deserved.
Right. Yeah. I don't disagree with anything good you say about Fighting with My Family. I think it's fantastic. For me, there's just something that Fast 5 has.
Chris Hemsworth's wife.
That doesn't hurt. But again, all I've done this whole podcast is talk about how much I love Florence Pugh. So and Roman Reigns. Yeah. So Roman Reigns ain't in Fast 5. No.
I'll be in you later, Andy.
But yeah.
I got
a spear for you, baby. Again and again. And again.
Reload up there.
Yeah, for me, like I said, Fast 5 is just one of those action movies that it's one that I can put on at one point. Like if I catch it at a certain point in the movie, I'll watch it from there and just keep going all the way to the end. Yeah, it's a fun movie. So as much as I like Fighting with My Family, I like Fast 5 more.
All right, Brian, let's let you break it.
I was waiting for this.
Yeah, let's see what you have to say, Brian.
Mr. Fast and the Furious.
Damn it, Well, I'm not going to argue that I'm a fan of this franchise. I have been since day one. I will have.
It's kind of. It's your thing, Brian.
It is your thing.
It is kind of my thing. I've seen all of them in the theater. Granted, it took a while to get to the first one. Oh, this is very, very tough, and I hate this decision.
But.
Say but.
But
Honestly, I'm just for the sake of both these movies and the star power that's attached to them and the upcoming star power that is attached, I'm gonna go with Fighting with My Family.
yeah.
Oh.
Because I think
own franchise under the race car.
He has turned heel on Fast and the Furious.
well because
I just buried like 60 episodes.
well I look at it as this is the Fast and Furious franchise is the multi-billion-dollar franchise that it is, whether it's Vin or The Rock or whoever else that is attached to it that helps drive that franchise. The fact that Florence Pugh is getting such the well-deserved, credit that she's getting right now, that I'm gonna bank to say though, The Rock probably had his say in who was gonna play Paige, being that this was the movie that he wanted to get made, and that he was probably there saying, "Yep, this is who's going to play who and whatnot." And I think he was the huge driving force behind that movie. So I think, as a whole, I think probably just throwing him in the movie was just there for shits and giggles, as to be more on the producing side and just getting this movie made.
It was a WWE Studios film,
right?
So it had to.
The first one, The Rock's done, too.
Yeah, it was. So,
Yeah.
I think this was WWE Studios' way of let's get you for a movie, finally.
Well, the way I was understanding it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the day that he met Paige and learned of her story, he's like, this people need to know about this story. People need to know about you.
Yeah.
And it's probably because my understanding is it's under his production company, but it's probably a WWE film because he's probably contracted to have to put that shit on there.
Could have. I don't know.
Because my understanding is it's all him and his ex-wife's production company that mainly put it together.
Okay.
I think, like I said, but no, I think she's definitely getting the well-deserved love that she should be getting, and I think that if this is the movie and if The Rock is the person that put her in the forefront of some people's minds, even better.
Okay.
All right, that's a surprise. I would say.
Hey, just because I like the Fast and Furious doesn't mean I can't be cultured. Jesus.
Hold on, I just got to point out that you said fighting with my family equals culture.
That's right. That high art that is fighting with my family.
Yep.
So what I'm saying
class.
is, if I hadn't known her from, say, maybe I would have been less likely to see Midsommar, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think it's really cool that we have this bracket that it's 4 dudes sitting in a room talking about movies starring The Rock, and the final 2 are Moana,
are female-led movies.
Yeah, and Fighting with My Family. Yeah, a female-led wrestling movie. Fighting with My Family, I think, less surprising.
Yes. Yeah.
But
probably
yeah.
because of me.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool that that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we going to go with? Moana versus Fighting with My Family.
I'm going to let you lead, Charlie.
The number 1 versus the number 2 seed.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. As much as I loved Fighting with My Family, I gotta give it to Moana. Again, that movie was just about as perfect as it could have been. I love that they celebrated that culture. I love the music from it.
A Disney princess who wasn't a princess.
Right, exactly. I loved even just the elemental aspect of it. That's a lot of fun. I love Fighting with My Family, but as this has gone on throughout our brackets, I keep remembering how they promoted Fighting with My Family and the videos with actual Paige.
Yeah.
Do you remember these,
No.
Casey?
I don't remember.
I don't know if I remember them.
Okay, so we got to look these up eventually because they aired it right before the trailer during WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
And Paige was drunk.
Yup.
She just like, hey, is Paige? And I have a movie coming out about my life. It was so bad. But because Moana didn't have that awesome marketing, and the fact Moana is, in my opinion, the best movie on this entire list. So, yep.
Yeah. I don't have to defend it. I just have to say that Moana is fantastic. With this especially being a bracket about The Rock's movies, Fighting With My Family, he's much more of a supporting part. So it's good to have him as one of the major characters. And I mean, so for that reason, that's one.
He's technically a supporting character in Moana.
It's true. He's not the lead, but he is, pretty
He's
important,
Maui.
pretty integral to the whole film.
He's the second. He's the second main character.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Moana is excellent. One of the best
too.
animated movies of the last decade, at least.
I do too.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that is it. Moana is the winner.
On this list? Yeah. Let's see this.
All right. So let's go through some of these movies that did not make the bracket.
Real quick here, you made reference of what movie is that you said that this is what I know he's a star and he's going to be a great actor. What movie did you say that was?
Get Smart.
What about you, Andy?
Oh, the movie that I thought he was going to be a star?
Yeah, the movie where you literally looked at him and said, you changed your mind that he's no longer just a wrestler trying to be an actor to a wrestler who is going to be an actor.
Well, I felt like that right away with The Rundown to an extent. I thought he was very charismatic and just had that stuff that would make him a movie actor.
I know what movie you're talking about.
Which movie?
You're gonna, why can't I think
Be
of what?
Cool.
Be Cool.
Yes.
Thank you. Be Cool. Yeah.
Be Cool was the movie for me because of, he would be playing a bodyguard where you're not quite sure what side of the fence he's swinging on in the first place.
Yeah.
But no, the part, especially knowing that he was a professional wrestler, he's in the thrift store with the bright powder blue cowboy pants and does the Who's Hot thing. I'm like, I'm totally in for The Rock being a wrestler.
Yes.
Or, an actor.
He's someone that I think his background in wrestling makes him not afraid to make big choices.
Yes.
And I think
He never made those big choices within the confines of wrestling.
Right, it's
That's
true.
the other thing. Like, he was always the guy, like, embarrassing Michael Cole. Mick Foley showed him. He was more in that role for him to an extent. But yeah. It's, he's not afraid to be funny. That's for sure. And he's not afraid. He wasn't afraid to be, like, just an asshole in front of the crowd, too. Yeah. So, yeah. I would like to see The Rock more of a villain eventually. I really would.
And I'm hoping that's where they end up spinning Black Adam.
Yeah, I do too. But I don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
I really don't think that they're going to. I
No.
think if you attach The Rock to it,
He's the hero.
he's the hero.
He's a villain.
What has he been a villain in? Get
He's a
Smart?
villain at the end of Doom.
Who watched that?
I did.
I did. The first person thing was actually kind of the POV thing was kind of interesting.
Scorpion King?
And The Mummy Returns, he's the villain.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the computer animated version of him is the villain.
Oh, that was so bad.
The SmackDown Here Comes the Pain version of The Rock.
That was like SmackDown 2. That wasn't even Here Comes
So
the
what you're
Pain.
saying is the production company that did the Mummy version of The Rock is the same one that did Justice League, right?
Pretty close.
Is he? I can't remember. Is he cameo in the other guys with
Sam Jackson?
Yeah, with Samuel
Technically a villainous role.
Kind of a dick.
He was just the dick
Not
detective.
necessarily the villain.
Not a villain by any means.
The-
I just couldn't remember if that was him in that movie.
The
No.
spinoff he needs to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not the villain in a movie where Steve Coogan was.
Yeah, what other ones do we think should have made the list? I have one, Walking Tall. I think that movie's a lot of fun.
I have never seen it, so I
think-
Did you ever see the original?
No, but I know the basic context. The context of the movie.
I've never seen the original, but I will say this for the sake of Walking Tall. It's one of the first few movies where I said that Johnny Knoxville actually was somewhat serious, and you could actually take him seriously.
He was cast really well in that movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. He was. I don't know.
The Rock walking around with a big 2x4 and just smashing dudes. It's awesome.
Yeah, stealing Hacksaw's gimmick.
Oh,
I did a show with Hacksaw a couple of years ago, and I will tell you, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is the nicest person in the history of professional wrestling.
Are you doing this on purpose?
I'm not. Oh! But that dude doesn't have to take a bump for the rest of his life. Yeah. He will do the hoe thing until he's in the grave. Like he will hit people, let them bump, and yell "ho" for 20 minutes and still get paid.
Yeah.
Oh, and they love him. But I'm surprised that Be Cool was not on this list.
Yeah.
That was one that
only 30% on Rotten Tomatoes for Be Cool.
Really?
It's because it was the sequel to Get Shorty that they didn't want, that nobody wanted. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a very well casted ensemble, but it's okay.
Does this mean that G.I. Joe Retaliation has a 29 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
That is a very low score for G.I. Joe Retaliation.
It was also G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But you also figure this is also the one who went through development hell, though, too, because of the Channing Tatum crap.
Yeah, the first one is terrible. I think the second one is watchable. So, which, again, that doesn't really speak much higher than a 29, but...
Still, the Scorpion King has a higher score.
Yeah, that should not be.
Yeah, the lowest one on here is Doom.
Yeah.
That I came across.
Well, he'll admit that that's his worst movie ever.
Right.
I mean, he made jokes about that when he inducted his dad into the WWE Hall of Fame. Because I forget, John Cena, he made fun of John Cena for doing the Marine. And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, I made Doom."
I think if Southland Tales turned out to be the movie that they wanted it to be, that they kind of had the expectations of, it probably would have been a better movie and probably would have made the list. There are people that love Southland Tales. Corey loves Southland Tales.
Blake.
So, yeah, Blake does too. So, I mean, it's one I think I probably need to give another shot to, but for me, I don't really do anything. I remember him being okay in it, so.
I'm trying to... There was another one. Oh, I'm surprised that Gridiron Gang is scored as high as it is.
Yeah.
Like, that movie fell way short for me.
Yeah. It was a drag.
I mean, it's only 42%.
Yeah.
What I've noticed looking at his movies, doesn't have a whole lot of greatly rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb.
Nothing flying high on
No, Moana and Fighting with My Family were pretty high up there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting list. I mean, he's gonna have another movie this week, probably next week,
and the week after
that.
That's right.
So I mean, his list just keeps growing, and I think we're probably gonna see a little bit more of him in more of the serious roles as things go on. I think the action franchise star is eventually going to start to fizzle, and he'll want to do some other things as well. So.
I hope so. I think he is extremely talented. Yeah. I think he's got more than just charisma. I think he finds a way to connect with the audience and the other actors, which, I mean...
I think that boils down to the type of person he is, though, too.
Right.
He's just generally, I mean, from my experience of what I've seen for behind the scenes and just him in general, he's not a dick.
Right. And it's important, like, being able to carry that over on screen to where you can really sense a genuine connection. And I hated Rampage. I thought Rampage was really bad. He connects with, when he shares the scenes with Naomi Harris. It's such a false relationship, but they still feel like they work well together. So I think getting a chance to see him do more serious films will be
absolutely
will be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, and I think we talked about this the last time that I was on. There was at one time pitched to the WWE Films a film starring all professional wrestlers that was a remake of Cannonball Run.
Ooh.
And it was like The Rock, Steve Austin, Batista, John Cena, and CM Punk. All in that movie.
Take my money.
Exactly. So I wish that they would do something along. I kind of hope that he starts bringing on more wrestlers as well. I did watch Girl on the Third Floor recently, and that was a fun horror flick.
Yeah?
That was a fun horror flick. They're saying a lot in that movie. I will say that too. It was a lot more than what I was expecting.
Okay.
But it was they're trying to say a lot in that movie. Nice. So
I will have to check
Yeah,
that one out.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
I've been
forward
wanting
to
see
that one.
Yeah, I rented it. I know it was available on one of my
Yeah.
on-demands, and it came up like right around Halloween. So I was like, oh, I need a scary movie,
Yep.
and I wanted to see this. So
Awesome.
yeah, that I did see that. I don't know what other. I'm trying to think of like what other wrestlers turned actors. Those movies that I've enjoyed, besides maybe Dave and
Roddy Piper.
They Live. Okay.
Yeah. When this Black Friday Vinegar Syndrome is a Colts kind of Blu-ray distributor. They have Hell Comes to Frogtown, which is another Roddy Piper movie.
Okay.
Like a special edition of that, and I was like, I should get that one too, but nope, I went with Tammy and the T-Rex. So.
Nice. Nice. Obviously, there's Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
different ones like that.
Hulk Hogan's No Holds Barred, which is a
Santa with muscles.
cinematic classic.
Three Ninjas.
Urban Commando.
Yep.
Suburban Commando. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's not a lot of great
it
ones.
feels like The Rock really brought a lot of respect to that
Yes.
transition.
I think he opened a lot of doors for
Yeah.
guys that were going to see, like even John Cena.
Yeah.
Like he would have been stuck doing the WWE movies if
Right.
it wasn't for The Rock breaking out.
Yep.
I mean, we'll see. I think we'll start seeing a lot more
Yeah.
guys take that same route. I think eventually Roman Reigns probably will.
Yeah.
He's got a few miles left on
Yeah.
him.
Give it a
That's the
shot.
other thing. I think there's a few guys that could really do the acting thing. Dolph Ziggler
Yep.
is one that if he got rid of his ramen noodle hair, he would be a shoo-in for a lot of movies because he's got great comedic timing.
Yeah.
He a stand-up comedian himself. He's trying to make that happen. I think he'd be another one that's probably going to be in that realm. If he just keeps re-signing with WWE.
Yeah.
Like, you keep hearing that he's not going.
You still need a
that he's not
job,
gonna
I mean.
be- yeah. But and then he doesn't do anything. But I think Ziggler would be another one.
Yeah.
That would be a great to turn into the acting role
Yeah.
now.
I think Punk is still he's starting to get into that a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
Starting to do more movies.
Yeah.
Do you see anybody from the female side of the WWE getting into more mainstream acting?
We've seen a few. Now that we think about
Because
this,
Paige doesn't count.
well,
I'm just thinking the Christmas movie with the Miz and Paige.
Oh no,
Because if anybody makes great straight to DVD movies, it's the Miz.
it's the Miz. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Marines. I don't know. One of them has Becky Lynch in it.
Yep. I think Becky would be a good one.
Yeah.
And I think we could see her as an action star. I think she's a legitimate badass
Mm-hmm.
as well. There's a couple of them now. Like, I can't see Charlotte doing it. I think she's just got her wrestling blood in her.
Yeah.
And she won't step away from that. Sasha Banks has to let go of her boo-boo face. If she's not the good guy, she's going to be pouting the whole time.
Right. Yeah, that's a boo-boo face.
Yeah, it's a boo-boo phase. I'm trying. There are a couple of them that I would really like to see. Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
She's done some of the action stuff. So
She has, but she needs to work on the acting part of it, though. She's got the action down, but
Well, you even see that in the WWE. She wasn't the best on the mic.
Right.
but I understand that that's also not where she starts. So she hasn't had the amount of time to kind of mold that side of it.
Right.
I'm not too worried because even with the Expendables,
Right.
she was there for what she needed to be there for. But
Yeah.
if Ronda's gonna do it, she's got a long road ahead of
And
her.
I think the ones that want to pursue that path, I feel like they will really put in the work to do it. I think.
Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Awesome Kong in
Glow.
Glow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. She is great on that show. I think the ones who want to put in the work to kind of perfect the acting intricacies, where you've got to kind of tone down the scale of what you're doing a little bit, I think they'll put the work in and it'll make it so that they can give the good performances. I think The Rock has grown exponentially, from where he started to where he is now. I mean, he is a star now, and so doesn't have to really do much. But I think if he wants to tackle something more serious, he's the kind of person that will put in the work that needs to be done.
I agree. Well, in Awesome Kong, she started as a child actress before she became a wrestler. Believe that or not, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got to watch an interview with her in person a few months ago, and she said that's where she got her start. And then her and her brother were wrestling fans, so they went to a couple of shows. They saw her and her love for it, and they started training her. So, and she's one of the, if not, I'd say she's one of the best female performers of the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
In wrestling, anyway. And
Right.
then now she's got these bigger roles, also within the confines of wrestling,
Yeah.
but great actress nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right, should we wrap this thing up, boys? I think we got to give some plugs, let the people know where they can find you. Andy, if you want to kick it off.
Sure. So, you can find me online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just do a search for Fat Dude Digs Flicks. You can find me anywhere there. I am reviewing everything I watch, doing my little amuse-bouches when I go see a movie in theaters. I've got the podcast. I am in the middle of my Star Wars miniseries, The Forces, with the Fat Dude. And it is going strong. I've got to try and cram like 3 or 4 episodes into these next 2 weeks because Rise of Skywalker is right there. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that miniseries, and it's kind of shaped how I want my podcast to be from now on. So we'll move forward on that. We'll talk about that at a later date, I think. But yeah, that's where you can find me. I won't talk about the YouTube channel because...
What's your social media?
Oh yeah, Fat Dude Digs Flicks. You can find me. It's just Fat Dude Digs Flicks, or Twitter is Fat Dude Flicks. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the Star Wars series. It's a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Begrudgingly,
So much
I am
fun.
too.
Yeah, I know. And it was like I had it planned. I think before you and I had ever crossed paths. Like I had already had the guests and stuff picked out. But it was like once I decided I want to do this, I was like, yeah, I want to get you.
I like
on.
that you're not doing it in order too.
Yeah.
Like that's because I know that it's split 50-50 with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And like we're hearing contrarian opinions on just about everyone, so it's been fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun journey just to see like I like this one, I don't like this one, I like this one, so I've got to be like, well, yeah, I can see what you mean. I see how you feel that way. So
Right.
All right, Charlie, where can the people find you?
Oh, well, you can find me running around the city of Sioux Falls as of late. But you can find, there's a few things that I'm going to plug if you don't mind, guys. First off, I am the director for SiouxperCon here in town, so I will be taking over as the overhead director for everything. I will tell everybody on the podcast right now we have a date in place, and we will be announcing soon. So we will be doing some things, and you guys will see some changes that are coming up as well, which is going to be a lot of fun to see. But I am the director of SiouxperCon, so please go find SiouxperCon on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And SiouxperCon is spelled SiouxperCon, like Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's SiouxperCon. So please go follow that. I would love to see you guys. It will be in September. I will tell everybody that. So please, when we have the dates announced, we'll make sure everybody, and you guys will definitely be welcome to come back.
We'll be there.
Yes.
We'll be there. Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Now that does mean that we got to talk about that feud and how it started last year in just a bit. But I am also a pro wrestling commentator, so I got put over by a certain fat dude in his videos saying, "Oh, you're pretty good at that." Blah, 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 blah. All I heard was you're good at your job.
Charlie just hears what he wants to hear.
But I am a pro wrestling commentator. You can book me if you can email me at wrestlingvoicecharlie, that's with an IE, at gmail.com if you are interested in booking me. In addition to that, you can find my social media content on Instagram and Twitter. That is at WrestlingVoice1, at WrestlingVoice numerical 1. I am the commentator for Midwest All Pro here in Sioux Falls. I am the commentator for Magnum Pro down in Omaha, Nebraska. I am the ring announcer for Crushed Pro Wrestling located in Minnesota. I just got contacted. They'll have some more dates coming up here in the next year. Crushed Pro, always a good time. You can see all of my content within their YouTube pages. So if you want to check out my commentary, go to Midwest All Pro YouTube page. Go to Magnum Pro's YouTube page. Crushed Pro, you will see me as a ring announcer in there. So and it's been getting busier and busier with that. So we'll see. And I plan on getting married in the next year.
Yeah.
Well,
When are you gonna fit in the time?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I think if I
Are you gonna have a wrestling wedding?
I am not. No.
You beat me to it. I was like, I'm picturing him getting officiated inside the four, into the ring.
Kane comes
Wedding in a
out and
cage!
steals your wife.
The only
You
thing
tried, didn't you?
I pitched one thing that at the receptions we were working with. I had been working with this artist named Mikey Martinez. I don't know if you guys know who he is here in town. But Mikey is this amazing comic book artist, and he was going to draw me as Macho Man and draw my future wife as Elizabeth and put her on my shoulder and do the whole thing. And those were going to be our placemats. I got a big fat no on that one. But I will be in Omaha on the 21st of December. I will be back here in Sioux Falls on the 22nd. I want to give a plug to the Omaha show on the 21st. It's at the Side Room in, I forget the little town near Omaha that it's, but look for Magnum Pro Wrestling. That is a free show. That's Fan Appreciation Night. So if you're in the Omaha area and you like professional wrestling, who doesn't love free wrestling? The 22nd is the last show of the year for Midwest All Pro. More dates to come.
Awesome.
So.
Very cool. We got to plug one thing that all four of us are going to be on. We got to plug it here. You can see the little poster in the background.
You mean that one right there?
That one right there.
Unless you're listening to this.
You already know what it is. You're already close. You're close.
Charlie's like, am I covering
it? That is going to be our magic. This is going to be our live show at Last Stop Studios, including Brian, myself, Andy, Corey Jacobson from Somewhat Random Movie Collection, and Blake Ginnathan from Backlot 605. But I don't know if we've even said this yet on the show.
I don't think we have.
Charlie will also be there. He is going to be our host, our MC, our Mean Gene for this show.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's so busy. We need to give him more things to do.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I mean, you called me and you're like, oh, can you do that? I'm like, yeah, probably. Yeah. And then I told my fiance, she's like, you're going to do that too? I'm like, yeah, you should come.
We'll have our wedding there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a live show at Last Stop Studios. That is Sunday, January 26th at 3 p.m. at Last Stop CD Shop on the east side of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, counting down the top 20 movies of the decade.
Yeah.
Andy, I think this is going to be the last time we have you on before that. So if you want to say something about this live show, maybe kick off with calling out one of us. I don't know if you have a strategy going in at all.
So my strategy is not to get super stressed out over this because like in my
I'm
head,
just imagining me standing next to Andy and he's just going, Blake, God damn it.
I have movies that I love from this last decade that I have not kept quiet about. And I have a feeling that people are going to use that against me. So I've got to do the best I can to keep those movies safe so they end up in a good spot on the list. I'm talking about you, Blake. If you're coming at me with your Tree of Life BS, I'm going to swat that down faster than you can say Brad Pitt and Jessica Chastain are so boring in that movie. It's glorified wallpaper, Blake, and you know it.
Wallpaper.
Yeah, so...
as you can see,
Andy... turn it off.
As you can see, Andy does not find us as a threat at all.
I do, but I'm not going to discuss that right now.
Blake's not here, so it's a lot easier.
It's easy.
See, there's one thing I've learned from this show today, and it's I have no idea what Brian's going to play now because he got rid of Fast Five.
Yeah.
I have no idea what Brian
is a wild
card. Good, because guess what? Neither do I yet.
I don't think any of us do.
No, I'm really excited about this.
You guys are doing this killer countdown style, right?
Yep.
No, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super excited about this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I do think because I have like such a personal connection to the movies that I love, I feel like once it gets down to that top 10, if some movies don't fall a certain way, I'm going to be like, bring a little paper bag that I'll have to breathe into. But no, overall, this is just going to be a blast, and I'm so excited that we get to do this.
Yeah, this is going to be a ton of fun. Sunday, January 26th at 3 p.m. Last Stop Studios. We'll be there. Ton of fun. We're going to have some prizes.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a blast.
You guys are giving out money to the JY6? So.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a partnership with the JY6. They'll be there to give a little introduction before the show. Charlie knows them very well.
Yeah, they're one of our charity partners for SiouxperCon, so I'm real excited. But speaking of personal connections here, just to wrap this up, Andy.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with you here today.
I had a lot of fun with you today, Charlie.
And on camera, Getting on camera? Walking out with it, buddy.
What?
Charlie,
What is Charlie doing?
Charlie,
No.
I thought we were... Charlie.
Andy, do you need to go chase him down?
Charlie!
Go.
Charlie!
Go get him!
Charlie, what are you doing?
Oh, well, yeah.
I guess we're done.
For audio listeners, Charlie has just taken the Andre statue. The Andre toy that has belonged to Andy for 30 years. He just
32
took it and left.
years.
He
32.
left.
Well, he's been eyeballing it this entire time.
He has. Did he leave?
He drove off. Charlie drove off with my Andre the Giant pin. Charlie, I don't know when you're going to get to see this, but when you do see this, you had better take good care of him. 32 years, Charlie. 32 years. Charlie, this ain't over. This has just begun.
Well, I would like to say thank you all for listening, but I don't know how to end that. Guys, we're going to keep you updated in the weeks to come. Be sure to be at the live show. I think this is I don't know what's going on.
Boy, the live show is going to be electrifying.
Yeah, I think just like The Rock, it's going to be a very electrifying show. I have no idea what's going on right now. I think they're going down a high-speed chase down my street right now. So, anyway, until next time, Brian, this has been the Backlot 605 podcast.
Yeah.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know.